All right, as we move forward, this next segment is brought to you by Leaf Filter. As the official gutter guard of the Cleveland Browns, Leaf Filter has a limited time offer for the Browns fans. Over 1 million homeowners have trusted Leaf Filter. You can schedule your free inspection now, and for a limited time, get up to 32% off your entire qualified purchase and 2 free Browns jerseys at leaffilter.com/UCSS. That's right, a free inspection up to 32% off and 2 free Browns jerseys with qualified purchase at leaffilter.com/UCSS. Offer valid on first come, first served basis while supplies last. Full terms and conditions can be found at leaffilter.com/UCSS. See representatives for warranty details. I got a question.
Shoot.
So this man right here sitting to my right, Steve Becker. Shout out to Steve.
What up, Steve?
He pretty much let me know last week that coming off a bye week, Nick Sirianni, the Philadelphia Eagles head coach, is pretty much coaching for his job.
Oh, 100%.
A loss to the Browns,
Yep.
He's out of here.
He is out.
Me and you are in the line. This thing is toxic with the Cleveland Browns. I think Paul DePodesta is kind of like a cancer. That's just my opinion. How long before we get to that point, even with the contract extension, before Stefanski is starting to be coaching for his job?
I personally would not fire him no matter how this season goes. But there is something strange, whether it's your conspiracy about DePodesta, whether it's Jimmy Haslam, whatever it is. It didn't make sense coming off a season last year where they were able to do what they did with changing quarterbacks all the time to essentially fire the entire offensive staff.
No sense.
I do know very reliably that Jimmy Haslam is obsessed with throwing the ball, which, okay, I get it. And for all the talk about it changing, all of a sudden, Jay, the last 2 weeks, there's been a lot more passing yards.
Listen, I've noticed. I have noticed.
And Watson hasn't kept up with the other guys. Yeah, you've seen a lot of 300-yard games all of a sudden the last couple of weeks. It still for the season probably won't be what it was, but, like, it's not like the passing game's going away. I get it. It's exciting, passing game, but you got to do what's best for your team and your personnel. And right now, they would be better off running. And now, especially when Nick Chubb comes back, whether it's probably not this Sunday, maybe next Sunday, whenever it is, then it becomes a no-brainer. But all I know is I was told by a reliable source that there was a game, I think it was the Arizona game last year, that the Browns won in blowout fashion, but Jimmy wasn't happy because they didn't throw the ball enough.
He commented after the game, we didn't throw it enough.
And that just sums up how clueless he is.
Hey, listen, man, I told y'all, man, y'all think I be having these quotes for no reason, and it's facts. I've been saying this since day one I got in this industry. People would rather lose but do it on their terms and what they're comfortable with doing rather than winning and doing it a way where they're uncomfortable and they don't understand that philosophy.
See, I don't know that I buy that. The one thing, I ding Jimmy Haslam all the time, and I'll just say this and you can respond to it. I think Jimmy wants desperately to win. I really believe that. I mean, he's showing it with his checkbook.
Right.
I think this guy is obsessed with the idea of bringing a championship to Cleveland. That's his redeeming quality. Mm-hmm. Where he goes off the tracks is he has wrongly made the assumption that he knows the way to get us there.
That's right.
He does not.
So that goes back to my point. My thesis statement is, if you know that you are better, what's best for the team is to run a specific style of football based on what you have. And yet you still say, I need to throw the football because that's what I like to see happen. That means you're not married to winning.
Well, I think he likes to see that because he, with his own eyes, has watched Kansas City build a dynasty that way. And Cincinnati, with a good young quarterback, win that way.
Okay.
But here's the missing element. And this is where, it's like what I've said before. You can't just wave the wand and say, you know what? I want to be really fast, tall, thin, and attractive. Well, that's cool, but you're not. So do well what you are and what you do. And Jimmy, I think, and Bernie backs it up when he says this, Jimmy watches the Chiefs and says, oh, that's what we have to look like in order to win.
Right.
I disagree with that premise because there's a lot of ways to win. But he's married to that way.
But the overarching theme is he's been here. He's seen it. He knows what his roster looks like. I'm sure they have meetings talking about the numbers. Analytics department has showed him, right? if this is an analytics-driven organization, they have meetings every week showing how bad they are passing the ball, showing how bad shotgun is, showing how bad they need a running game. But yet and still, as an organization, they're not going to change the quarterback. They said they're not going to switch to play calling. They said they're not going to go back to the old system. So that means, in reality, you are not trying to win. You just want to do it this way.
Hey, G, check this out. Yeah. Check this out. Before you go, Bull, because I talked about this on my last episode of the Ultimate 216 show. And you, Jay Crawford, you triggered me. And you were the reason why I even recorded that episode. As of October 25th of this year, Jimmy Haslam would be the owner of the Cleveland Browns for 14 years. Okay? So, what is it? 12 years. I'm saying 12 years. Yeah. The Cleveland Browns are 69, 122, and 1 during that tenureship. I found this quote from an article that was written right here at Channel 3. There's no reason why this can't be a winning franchise. Everything's here, right? There's no reason. If they don't, I'll accept the blame. It's our fault. We didn't execute like we should. Every other piece is in place here. Great fan base. You have the money you need. We just have to execute. Yeah. This was the day that he was introduced as the owner.
Yeah, we were excited at the time.
And he's reiterated that a million times.
We sit here on this show, we talk about play calling, the running game, wide receivers dropping the ball, Deshaun Watson, offensive line, the defense. Everything subsequently is fruit of the poisonous tree. So based on his own words, it's his fault. It's nobody else's.
Well, to your point, the line I use is it's rotten at the head. This goes to the top. We've had different coaches. We've had different general managers. We've had different quarterbacks. In the span that he's owned the team, we lose twice for every win we put on the board. There's one constant. And going back to that, there's one person that he has invested in to bridge multiple GMs and coaches. His name's Paul DePodesta. So
and Jimmy himself.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Jimmy, obviously, Jimmy is the common denominator here. Yeah. But there's one other guy that's been along for the majority of that ride. And his record is the same thing. Right. His winning percentage is about .333.
Well, let me make a point. A couple of things. First of all, for whatever reason, Bernie's not comfortable saying you should
I know
bench.
He's not. I was hoping he would go where I've heard him go before.
If you read between the lines of what Bernie said, I mean, he understands. He's telling you that this is what Deshaun Watson wants to run.
Yep, that's it.
That's why they're running this offense. Yep. Because that's what Deshaun Watson wants to run. Bernie said it 3 times. I wanted to run something that I wasn't good at because I was stubborn.
Yep.
You don't get to be an NFL quarterback unless you're cocky, confident, stubborn, whatever it is. All of the above. And so, yes, you can blame Stefanski and you can blame Jimmy Haslam, and everybody deserves blame. Part of it is because that's what their quarterback wants. That's why they made all these changes this offseason, which made no sense. None of the changes made any sense.
You're firing an offensive coordinator who took you to the playoffs with 5 quarterbacks, and he didn't call the plays.
But at the end of the day, somebody going to have to grow a set.
That's right, and that's Kevin Stefanski.
Make the call.
You're right. And that, to me, is so how long do we stay in this malaise? Yeah. However long he's good with taking orders from people that don't know football like he does.
That's it.
When you rely on someone that doesn't have the knowledge that you have, you're being subservient. Now, I know we all have bosses. I get that. We all have orders. We all have to do things that we may not completely believe, but we have to do them. But at some point, he's got a safety net that none of us have.
That's right. He's got millions of dollars.
He's got millions of dollars.
Guaranteed.
No financial worries, and he knows that money is as good as in his bank account. At some point, I keep thinking Kevin Stefanski is going to rip off the Clark Kent uniform.
That's up to him.
He's going to turn into Superman and say, no, I've had it.
That's it.
This is what I'm doing because it's worked. That's why you hired me. If you don't like it, fire me, pay me.
He's the only one that can do it. Last thing real quick before Earl takes us to Super Chats and we got to go for TV. Jimmy Haslam needs to, remember when the episode of Seinfeld where George Costanza decides to do the opposite of all
yes.
That's what he should do.
Exactly.
If all my instincts are wrong, the opposite's got to be right. And that's what Jimmy Haslam should do.
Hey, you know what? If he took that advice, it might work. It might work. Be your own man. Go down the way you want to go down. Yeah. Don't go down on something that a guy who got wealthy running a truck stop wants you to do.
Because if he stays and does not make no moves, he will not survive. He will end up getting fired.
Yeah, anyway, yes.